Good evening, Gooners. Welcome to the Gooner booth. Wayne's back. He's back to full health. Welcome back. Um, but it's the Chelsea preview. We've just watched Leeds lose at home to Man City. Not the result we wanted, but we can't rely on Man City. We've got to do the job ourselves. Before we get into it, please smash the like button. Please hit the subscribe button and also get involved in the comments. Wayne, how are you, mate? Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Good evening, Tone. Yeah, bit of a slog, mate. Bit of a
Yeah.
slog, like one of those dodgy games you play, peeing down the rain, late night. You don't really want to be there. You're slogging along. You're slogging. It's just horrible. It's an horrible
Yeah.
time. But I'm back. I'm back and in football terms, ready to rock and roll, matey.
Good to hear. Good to hear, mate. Good to hear. Yeah, look, do you know what? Before we do get into the show, my
Yeah,
God, the Premier League, I don't think I've seen so many goals.
mm,
There's
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the results today.
I've only seen a few, mate. Reel them off to me, go.
I mean, Bournemouth won, Sunderland won, expected, but this was the one that I was keeping an eye on today. Burnley 3, Brentford 4. What a game
Yeah.
that is. I'll definitely be tuning to Match of the Day tonight.
It's long overdue time, definitely, mate, isn't it? To have some games open up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the only surprise. Obviously, Liverpool beating West Ham 5-2. That's not really a surprise. But here's another shocker for you, Wayne. Newcastle 2, Everton 3. Malcolm, if you're out
Yeah,
there, mate, what a result that is.
yeah, yeah.
And obviously City going and winning. But yeah, I was at lunch day with a Coventry support, and they nicked the 2-1 win against Stoke. I think they're going up, definitely going
Yeah.
up, 8 points clear in the Championship. Yeah, but yeah, look, our game tomorrow is a massive, massive game. Chelsea, they're no mugs, right? They're going to want to come here and hurt us, and I think nothing but a win tomorrow, Wayne.
Yeah, no, listen, it's got to be made. They've got a few players out as well, Chelsea. Your mate Cucurella ain't going to make the squad, apparently.
Right.
Esteval, Jamie Gittins. So, listen, I'm again, you have to play what's in front of your Tone. It's not necessarily a
Got
prelude
Wesley
to,
Fofana
you
suspended
know,
as well, dude. Sorry
and
to interrupt you
Wesley
there.
Fofana.
That come
No,
up.
no, that's it. Listen, it could be an advantage. It could not be an advantage. At the end of the day, mate, you have to turn up and win. Obviously, my starting 11 will reflect my thoughts on it, Bones. But I just personally, spoiler alert. That if you don't want to know, don't. But I just think we don't change much to the side that started against Tottenham, Bones. Keep the continuity.
Yeah.
Listen, we all know as fans, and we all know what me and you our demands from ourselves personally. What I think everyone's demand should be from us is that you want Erdegaard to kind of just recapture some kind of form. At the end of the day, he's wearing the captain's armband, but does that necessitate? Sorry, guys, that he comes straight back in? I don't think it does, and I don't think it should.
Yeah.
Earn your place. There's as I say, we've got
Definitely.
Brighton in the week. We've got tomorrow's game. He's time to start time will be against Mansfield, in all due respect. Show a captain's performance against an away side it's a big occasion for him. But he's got to turn up, is my point, Tony. For the rest of the
Well,
season, that's all
Ezra had
we're
to do
asking
it.
for.
Ezra had to do it, didn't he? Ezra had to earn his spot back in. He got an
Yeah.
opportunity. Done well against
He has to
Spurs.
kick on time because he done it last time against Spurs and kind of went down. This is the kind of period of the season now where Eze goes up. This is you need to keep that boys. That's why I kept been saying it on the streams. You'll back me up. This now is when you got to build this boy's confidence right up, Tone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
In other news, mate, I've seen that Reece James and Cole Palmer both fit and expected to
Yeah.
start tomorrow.
Yeah, good.
I think
Put them all in. Put
Reece
whoever's
James
fitting.
should be unless Cole Palmer pulls a man flu before the game.
He likes
Reece
to
James
avoid
is
it a lot, but I'm quite surprised he's fit, Bones. But listen, bring it on, sort of thing. He's
yeah.
one as well. Has got to prove, in it, because he's not doing a lot, and yeah, you need to play these kind of players, to test yourself anyway. But I think Cole Palmer's been struggling this season, so it's one of them. You have to be kind of cautious with these players, Tone, because when they're struggling, they seem to turn up at the Emirates. So an interesting one. We're more than capable, mate, of winning this game and winning it comfortably if we play our way. To keep them contained. The players you got to worry about, sorry, would be Pedro Neto or Nito, sorry guys, or however you want to pronounce his surname, and Yao Pedro. I mean, I would say for me they're a danger men tomorrow. You can get above if what's the name, Caicedo and Enzo in midfield. You know, I don't necessarily think that Chelsea's midfield, bar them two, have got anything you need to worry about, in my opinion, in terms of central midfield. But I think you can get at them. They're very emotional. They're wearing their hearts on the sleeve. I mean, Caicedo jumps into silly fouls. Enzo does. But Enzo's sort of like he's on a periphery. He keeps winding players up, and he's done it throughout the season. In past meetings, the cup games, the game at Stamford Bridge. So, you know, he's due one time. So just get someone on him to wind him up, you know, show these people what we're all about, you know.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be one of them games where it's not going to be so much about football. It's going to be about keeping our heads, you know, because Chelsea are going to go there. They're going to want to wind us up, as you mentioned. Endo's going to be kicking players.
He will be the chief one time, the chief bloke.
You know, who's our ref tomorrow? It's really a good.
Oh, God. I can't remember, mate. Jesus. It did come up. Go on. You put me on the spot there, mate. I've
yeah, I you know what?
I have been footballing in me state, watching in my state, but I've not really kind of followed. I knew there's one it pinged up on my feed the other day, but I can't remember the bloody
I think that'll be a key, right? That'll be the key to see Arthur Chelsea. Who's with the Arthur Chelsea game tomorrow? Let's ask good old Microsoft Copilot.
There you go. Help us out, Microsoft.
Darren England, apparently, mate.
That's all right. Yeah.
So touch wood, he hasn't been too bad this season, Darren England. So let's go. Just Pende, it's been a while, mate. How are you? I've logged out of the league for the last few days. The Champions League draw has me dreaming. Do you know what? I was actually going to get into that every way as well. Bayer Leverkusen, right? And then Bodo Glimt could be after that. We've got a nice little run to the final, right? Obviously, it's on paper. It looks easy, but you've got there's no.
But what's in front of you? Right? I mean,
but you know, I'm happy that we're on that side of the table rather than the other side, because the other side's absolute nuts.
It's the least we deserve, Tone, for when we're the only team to go in that campaign, that league campaign. We won all 8 games. If you've got a kind of unfavourable draw, you'd be asking yourself the question. I mean, there's a lot of fan backlash, and look at Arsenal getting it easy. Seriously, first and foremost, UEFA have actually set the league up this time to allow those guys that finish it at the top for there to be an incentive to finish top. So Mikel done it. Like people saying, if we'd have lost or drew the Inter game, that draw would have been slightly different. So the importance of going to Inter, we said it on the stream. It's a dead rubber. We're kind of through. It's vitally important for this. What's been sort of drawn out, Tone, that we won that game, and we did. So it's the least we deserve, mate. It's my point.
Yeah, and I think that while we're talking about the Champions League, let's have a quick look, go quick butchers.
Go on, mate.
Off the path. While we're on the subject, we ain't caught up in a while, Wayne. So and it happened, around Thursday, Friday, didn't it? So, but yeah, Just Pende's put Leverkusen, Bodo or Sporting, Odegaard or Gyökeres derby, then Barcelona Highline. I see a final coming. Yeah, no, it's a good path. So if you look, that's the side that we've done well to avoid. We've got to go to Atlanta when we've got a good little pathway there to the. I think, I think as Just Pende's put there, Newcastle, Barcelona, Atletico, Spurs. Do you know what? I'll be our luck, Wayne. We'll probably end up playing Spurs in the semi-finals. Because Spurs have been doing well in the Champions League.
That's the. I said it, didn't I? Obviously, Alf kind of when he come on the stream. Would have obviously disagreed with the point, but what my point was saying, Tone, was that as much as Thomas Frank was absolutely piss poor in the league for Tottenham, he done well for him in Europe at the top table. Yeah. So fair play to him for that. But of course, it wasn't good enough to save his job for Tottenham in the Premier League. I get that.
Yeah.
Is Igor Tudor going to do the same thing? But they seem to. Maybe it's sometimes as well, Tone, with Champions League football compared to Premier League football, it's a whole different ball game, quite literally. Teams open up. You're not got sort of like the dirty low blocks, or you're struggling against 9 men behind the ball in England, kind of, stodgy wet Wednesday evenings. You can go to sunny Spain on a Wednesday. You can go to Sweden at, is it Bodo Glimt to go like Norway? Sorry. Is what I think.
Bodo Glimt are no Muppets though. They've
listen, fair play to them.
They beat 3-0 at home. That won't be an easy game. We've got to get past Leverkusen first, which isn't an easy game.
Listen,
right?
no
Away
game
from
is
where
ever
it's at.
easy in football, Tony. You
But
just don't know what's going to happen. But you
yeah,
know, it's up to us now. But again, what it is, the narrative swings back because everyone's going, look at Arsenal, they got a favourable draw. So then when they say that we got a favourable draw, and touch would be done, but if we were to slip up, what is the narrative, Tone?
bottle jobs.
There you go. So it's just again all this stuff that's coming
Wayne,
out.
I
You know,
think
it's just
everyone hates Arsenal for some reason. And everyone wants
yeah,
us to foul.
yeah,
I was in a pub earlier today with the City game on, and I literally just looking around, all the people watching the game are going, "Come on, City, come on, City."
yeah.
No one wants Arsenal to win this league, and it leads you on to another question. Whilst we're on this subject, someone said to me, Arsenal are playing better in the Champions League than in the Premier League. That's obviously their opinion, right? And they said, would you take winning the Champions League over winning the Premier League this season?
Mm. You know what? I mean, the answer I could say, Tone, I'm sick and tired of mentioning them, so I won't really. So I'll give you a straighter answer because you know what I'm going to say about the Man City in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But listen, I want the Premier League. If you're looking at it in that sense, if someone's to give you an option, then obviously if you're champions, you'll be called league bottlers, but you'll be champions of Europe basically, and champions of the top tier, you know. And then we can't be beaten with that brush. We still have another year's worth of thing for the league. But yeah, I know. If you're giving me, if you're holding a gun against me head. Mate,
Should I give you my
I want
answer?
that Premier League. I still want
Yeah.
that Premier League.
I was gonna say I agree. I know we haven't won the Champions League, right? But I do think that if someone said to me, "Would you rather?" I'd rather the Premier League because it's a building
I
block,
want the
right?
league, Tone.
Because what
If
do we
you
naturally do, Wayne? What we naturally do next season? We've won the Premier League. That ducks off our back. What we're going to go and do next season? We're going to go and build and try and win the biggest trophy in Europe, which is the Champions League. I think
listen,
if we was to win it
their
this
chat, but
season,
I want the Premier League, Tone. I
yeah,
want the Premier League.
I think if we was to win it this season, I think it wouldn't be as it'd be the first time ever winning the Champions League, but we'd still have that duck on our back of you bottled the league. It doesn't matter. It'd be like Spurs winning the Europa League. It doesn't mean anything. They finished 17th. It doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if we win the Premier League, we've got that duck off our back, right? If we win the Premier League and the Champions League this season, wow, right? But I'm not entirely sure that will happen. It could happen. But if we win the Premier League this season, it just opens up that door for us. That's a building block to then go and win the
One for
Champions League
I
next
want to
season.
answer, Tone. If you give it,
I'll read that, mate. You answer it.
and I'll give you an
Go on,
answer.
mate. Yeah, just I would. What's the one thing we lack as a club, which fans can make fun of? I know the Premier League is important, but outside of England, people value the Champions League a lot more. Yeah, I'll take your point there, and
I'll take your point, but I think Tone, and I think personally Jasper as well, mate. I get what you're saying, but personally for me, I think that what it is like I've said about the League Cup as well, in terms of it, that's not good enough on its own. But this is all about this club getting silverware in that cabinet. That Champions League, you've got a great chance, right? You have got a great chance. Obviously, it's squad management. Do I think our squad's deep enough? That's my worry, especially in the central midfield areas. Time, but if you were to win that Premier League, you get that duck off your back, right? That Champions League, in my opinion, we could still win it. We could still win a hell of a lot of trophies once we get the big one. The big one and most important one for me is the Premier League. It has to be the Premier League because it's just been so long, and it's one of them. It's 22 years. Prior to that, I mean, we were too young, but there was a 17-year wait between 18-year wait between 1971 and 1989, right? So this is now one of our longest runs without a title. So it's gone on to 22 years. It's been too long for me, Tone.
Yeah.
It's time to end it. And people hate us, and this is the point I didn't want to get onto, but because the Chaz has brought up the Champions League, I want to put my point in there. That this league needs to be won by a team that hasn't cheated the system. Yeah. But people are supporting the team that's cheated the system because they hate Arsenal and they're just wearing blinkers. Sky Sports, what's that? And the overlap, right? Actually
Oh yeah,
had a proper journalist on asking him what would happen if, and they genuinely answered the question for once, Tone. What would happen? What do you think will happen to City? And he's saying their charges should equate to 40 to 60 points, right? I think more than that by what I've read,
yeah,
but 40 to 60 points. Sounds actually addressed it. We need to win it, right, to make sure they don't win the fucking league because that is
yeah,
outrageous that they're doing it. So let's do it. People think it's not because people hate Arsenal. It's for football time. This institution has been cheating football for years. All right,
yeah.
let's take them down and win it. But win it for us personally. But we cannot let this City team win the league for me. So that's vitally important more than a Champions League and how easy the run is. We need to win the Premier League.
Just Penders put, who do you think is the biggest club in history of football? For me, it's Real Madrid. What's their biggest achievement? I understand the importance of the Premier League. I'll see where you're going, Just Pender.
No, listen,
I do get.
but we're
The,
still, as I say, you
they've
can't.
won like what 14 Champions League
Yeah,
trophies. Real
Real
Madrid.
Madrid, you have to start somewhere. I get it, Jazza, but also as well, mate, that 14th trophy is what we need, and we need number 14 at the football club to lift it for us this season as well.
There's no look. By the way, there's
I think
no
there's time, Jazza. I think there's time. And listen, what's not to say you can't have a good
win
crack at
both.
it?
Why can't we win both?
You know, but
If we
I
get all our
just think the
players,
Premier League tone is, you know,
there's no reason. I know I'll probably be blowing smoke a little bit by going, "Oh, we can win all four," but because I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that we'll win all four trophies or in all four competitions and we're firing all fronts. But yeah, I think that. Do you know what's really annoying is we could have been well away with the Premier League at the point in time. We could
yeah.
have
I
been at
mean,
least
that's the frustrating
14
thing, mate.
points clear. And then we
Yeah.
could have been having a conversation going, look, Premier League's pretty much tied up, right? It's got to keep doing what we're doing. And now we've shot ourselves in the foot there. But I think the Champions League, actually, this season, going back to Jas Pendy's point, I think that the Champions League, we have a really good shot this season of going all the way because the style of play in the Champions League, the way we play, suits the Champions League and it works in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Look at the first start of the campaign. We was the only team score 3 or more goals in all of our games. And that's a nut stat, and it's not been done in a while. We ain't done that in the Champions League for ages. We haven't lost a game, didn't draw a game really.
Yeah.
Won all our games, and there weren't no easy runs in there. We played Atletico Madrid, we played Bayern Munich. Do you know what I mean? Athletic, Atleti, that's what they're called now. Bilbao. That wasn't an easy game away from home. So I think there's nothing saying, right? The Premier League at the moment is squeaky bum time, as old Alex Ferguson used to say. Didn't like him at the time. Respect him now at least retired.
Yeah, we can show respect there.
But yeah, look, I think the Premier League it's not just the fact that I take Jess Pendy's point of the fact that look, we're getting mocked for we haven't won the European trophy and all that stuff, right? But the Premier League is the key to opening up a big mentality block that is currently at this football club, right? The fact that we haven't got because Arteta won the FA Cup in his first season, right?
Yeah.
Since then, we've gone through a dry spell with always the nearly people. But if we get the Premier League over the line, Wayne, we've lost that tag of being bottle jobs. I'm sorry, no one can cause bottle jobs if we get knocked out of Champions League because everyone knows
they'll say about the side of the draw we've had, but there's bottle jobs is because we've had a league in the Premier League. It's time to drop this silly thing about bottle jobs now, Tone, and that's vitally important we do it in the Premier League. But listen to Jasper as well. I like to say we get your point, but I think as well there's plenty of time for us to start to go for that. I think we got a few more cogs in the machine, Tone, to adjust. Take some of the old rusty parts out and put some fresh new cogs in the summer, and this machine will start rolling. But get that Premier League over the line, and also as well that League Cup I think is vitally important to put one over Man City. Get revenge for the last time we played them in the League Cup and they turned us over. Lift that League Cup trophy, Bones. And then that's when it all starts as well, I believe. But yeah, listen, I know what he's saying. go for everything, every one game at a time. I'm not going to sit here and be a meme on the internet when I'm saying we're going to win the quadruple. I'm never going to say that. You know, there's something behind you. We'll just keep chugging along. That's all we got to do, Tone. But for me, Premier League, mate. I love the Premier League. Not recently with the amount of cheating that's been going on with certain teams, but to win it to win the Premier League, despite that, that's what I want, mate.
Oh, Das Pendy. I was literally going to ask Wayne this question. Das Pendy's put, would you lose the League Cup if it means winning Etihad in the league?
If you were to give me a blood oath and it was
Trophy,
there was no, and it meant that we won at the league, won in the league at the Etihad, yeah, potentially. But I think this is, as much as it is, I still think that you could, if you avoid defeat at City, that is to be the main thing, and win the League Cup. My problem with that, Jasper, is if you lose the League Cup, that could then put doubts in the players' minds, and that's when the doubt will start to creep in my opinion. And obviously that's when Man City are chasing you down. I think it will land a mentality blow to beat them, and I think it will still aid our Premier League. If you're saying gun to head, I'd take a win at the Etihad, yeah, if it was guaranteed over it. Of course I would, but I think as well, Tone, you have to also look at it on the other side of the coin. We haven't lifted a trophy since 2020. It's been 5.5 coming on to 6 years since we last lifted a trophy. I want to see the trophy lifted first and foremost. I think it might be the smallest one and the least priority on your list, but we've said it before. You've agreed with me. Lifting that trophy is vitally important to Jasper. That's what I think, mate. For the rest of our season, for these lads, they need to win together. They need to get on that pitch and go, right, you can't take the piss out of us celebrating because we've won a cup. We can celebrate now because this is a cup, and that can start it. These players can win together and be on the pitch together and celebrate, mate. You know, without telling us we're over celebrating. We're not over celebrating because the cup's in our hands. That's what we need to be doing, Tony.
That'd be the thing, though, Wayne. Will be if we start celebrating because we won the League Cup against City, it'll be over celebrating.
It's just the League Cup.
Mickey Mouse Cup.
The hatred is unmatched, and like someone said as well, which me and you were way too young. Maybe our uncle, I remember he used to have newspaper strips on the bedroom wall at our nan's, and we could see a few when we won the league, and he's more than likely got it somewhere. But these newspapers were all set apparently, according to this an older generation, and all due respect to them, but it was a great time to have seen Arsenal win the league at Anfield in the last minute. Yeah. But the media, all leading up to it, all season, were just literally ready to kiss the backsides of Liverpool that season. And that they hate us. They hate us for us stopping them doing that, and it's obviously stopped the Liverpool run, really. I think Liverpool might have won it in the next year, and then we won it again, 91. But we stopped them, Tone, and the media hated us for it. So, Yeah,
no, good point. But yeah, look, let's get into the starting 11.
Let's do it, mate.
Cool. Before we get into your predictions, Wayne, just a bit of Arsenal team news. There's a few late fitness calls to be made ahead of the game tomorrow. Bakary Saka, minor doubt after an ankle twist against Spurs, but he is expected to start. So it's a minor one, so it looks like he's going to be tested before the game. Kai Havertz dealing with a thigh issue. Arteta confirmed he is back in training and may start on the bench.
Yeah.
Ben White remains a major doubt with a persistent niggle. What does that mean, niggle? I'm sorry. Normally they come out and go hamstring.
His body's fucked. But basically, I think personally that it's as much as they've got him back fit. I think with Ben White, he had a problem. Prior to it. He was carrying it all throughout the season when obviously Timber was injured and Benny White just kept going and going. He was getting through with injections, Tone, and I think it's played on him. He could have just done his kind of body absolute done him up like a kipper. I think he's fucked something, Tone.
Do we move him on in the summer? Because I think he's a good player, but is he?
I love the guy. I love the guy, but if you can find someone who can sort of like replicate his attacking ability, you can maybe have to look at it. The availability is the best ability, unfortunately, and we need him. I mean, Timber, the strain on Timber obviously as well is tough. And again, but what goes around comes around, because White did actually have that as well, Bones, didn't he? Because there weren't no natural kind of
Yeah.
replacement for him anyway. So he was playing every bloody game. So he has sacrificed a lot for the football club, and he does deserve respect in that sense. But if you can find someone who can replicate White in a certain sense, then it might be a more logical thing to do. Because I think the last couple of years, I say last season and this year, he's kind of struggled, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He has. And the only problem I've got though is I feel like Timber is a little bit burnt out.
I think, what I say as well, I think you could potentially next season, you could even look at Mosquera potentially going out there a
He
bit
done a
more
job,
often
didn't
than
he,
not.
against
Yeah,
Spurs? The only thing is,
he can do that, Tone, but we obviously you got Timber as well to worry about, dude, didn't you? He's
yeah,
Mosquera is his cover.
the only thing about that, right? And no disrespect to, I know Alf, we love Alf, right? And I don't want to, no disrespect, but Spurs weren't great, right? And I don't think we can
No.
compare what happened on Sunday to what's going to happen tomorrow. I think Chelsea are going to be a completely different outfit. We Mascara and at right back to a team that weren't really causing us problems. So it'd be interesting to see him go in that and play in that role in a game like Chelsea if we need him to. Which I think the
only one to worry about would be Neto. I think if Estevao was fit, he's a tricky customer, but he's not.
yeah.
I
think Neto is another, like, when he gets going, he's quite dangerous. Garnacho seems to do a job
they've
against
got
for some
Garnacho
reason
as well. Yeah, well brought on, so, yeah.
But yeah, so there's Just Pender's put two comments here. Let's read them out quickly. Ez on the left, I thought Arteta said something about that in the press conference. Now, look, I'll be interested to see that, to be fair, because he's going to be.
I have said that, haven't I? Go on, matey. Sorry, but I'll make the
is he going to be itching to put Odegaard back in the team tomorrow, as he's the captain? Yeah. It'd be interesting to see that. I think Trossard's been absolutely abysmal.
He has. He
hasn't. He's dropped off massively. So I don't think he should start tomorrow. But obviously, I think Arteta trusts him.
If my team, Tone, you want to tell me what I'll tell you what I would have picked, and it would have been, if Havertz, as I say, mate, for me, if Havertz is fit all day long, Havertz in the 10, Eza to the left, Saka to the right.
That works.
So, but listen, if he feels that Odegaard starts, I've got to say that Trossard has struggled big time.
Yeah.
He was fantastic at the start of the year. But I think now is the time for him to go and go, look, Trossard, let's step out. Ez is in. And I'll tell you what we need to do with Trossard. I don't think he's angry enough. When Arteta drops him, then Trossard comes on that pitch with a point to prove. So I think the best thing for him could be, I'm doing this, guys, by the way, because this is me guessing Arteta. But again, could you argue as well? You could. I mean, obviously, Eza in the left, you could put Saka, and you could have Noni playing as well. But it could be a bit more emotional for Noni because of playing against Chelsea. But that's options you can have. But Odegaard still got to prove it.
I think Noni will be up for this because the League Cup game, that game at Stamford Bridge where they're kicking him off the ball and stuff like that. I think he'd be up for. He's lost that. When players leave, like Declan Rice with West Ham's a really good example. He gave them a little bit of respect when he left. We actually give him a lot of respect. And then they were abusing him the last game at the Emirates, and I think he scored a goal and just went out to him. I'm just gonna. If you're gonna not disrespect me, I'm not gonna respect you back. And I think
he's showing nothing but respect to him. I mean, obviously, it's maybe an Arsenal thing because I mean I know a lot of West Ham fans absolutely hate Arsenal now.
Yeah.
It wasn't prior the case when we were giving them John Hartson and Ian Wright and Nigel Winterburn in the past, but it's now they got a right hatred for us, Tone. But it is what it is. It is what it is, mate. You have to ride your critics, and you're right. I mean, listen, it could be a game for Noni as well, you know.
Yeah, Just Penny's a very good point about Timber. Timber since the New Year has been bad. He is constant 7, 8, 10. Yeah, he was prior to Christmas. Now he's more 4 or 5 each game.
He's giving the ball. I think as well, though, mate. He's had a year and a half. He's come back from. I mean, and that point is extremely valid and a very good point of Jasper. The problem I think he's had, mate, is that he had this kind of. They said, oh, this is a new treatment for ACLs. And people were saying, "Oh, he could be back earlier," but he wasn't rushed back by the club. As we all know, Benny White was there. It's more extended. Benny White's having injections to get him through the game and get him through the rest of the season, which is obviously Benny White struggling with now. But Timber, for a year and a half, has played so much football time. And obviously sometimes your body's going to be a little bit, I just think he's fatigued, a Jazz fan. This is the toughest league. And, as much as we back in the day, players were playing 60 games, 70 games, the FA Cup replays, League Cup replays, the league was 40 odd games, 42, 44 games. So you had that extra there. There were so many games these players were going through, but it was a different game back then. There's so much physical stuff. You've got to be a physical specimen now,
Yeah.
and I think it's taking the toll on him, Tone. He does need to have a bit of a rest, but as I say, a Jazz fan like me and Tony just alluded to, if Benny White can't give him a decent rest because his body can't act, he's struggling. This is where Timber's going to struggle, because he can't get the rest at the moment, Tony, because Ben White's breaking down as well.
Yeah. Another thing as well, why is Norgard not getting a look in? I still on watch along against Spurs. It was a good opportunity to put him in. Zubimendi he went quiet when it was before it was 2-1. He didn't really have much of an input in that game, and I think in a lot of games, let me know in the chat if you disagree, obviously. But I think he's gone missing the last 3 games. The games are like Wolves. Where was he?
Yeah.
I think he went a little bit. I think Rice needs help in there. I think Norgard is disciplined enough to say, "Go on, Rice, you go. You go and do your thing with the boys up front." And Rice will track back. It'll be your number 8. It'll be your box-to-box midfielder with Norgard sitting there to sit in front of the back 4 and just protect our back 4 against Chelsea. Yeah. I think you'd find Rice will probably give Casado a harder game there because he'll be all over that midfield. Yeah. So I'm not I'm not entirely sure why he's not utilising the guy. He's had 36 minutes of Premier League football, Norgard.
I mean, Norgard knows the Premier League a hell of a lot more than quite a few of these players, in all due respect. So he's not even he's not giving them a chance, is he? Which I can't answer that question for you, Tone.
Yeah, just Penny's put, even with Rice, I don't like him in the 8. He's a world-class 6, but if you compare him to the other 8, his output and chance creation is not there. If you see his big chances created, it's all set piece. Yeah, I mean, this is where I think Odegaard could be risked in that role. We could risk him in that role, or even swap him over. Zubimendi can play in the 8 and Rice plays in the 6.
Rice is a phenomenal 6, Tone, a phenomenal player who's on the back foot. And he's that base play. He's always been that kind of recovery tackle. So I'm trying to gauge what George is saying, but I can't quite.
No, I think he's just great. He's just saying hello. Hello, George, mate. Welcome to the channel.
Well, anyway, if
let us know if you've got a question. But yeah, thank you.
If you've got a question, we'll answer. Thanks for joining the channel, mate.
Guys, there's a few of you in the chat. Smash the like button as you're watching, and also, if you've got any questions, what are your thoughts on the Chelsea game? What are you worried about? Are you buzzing for tomorrow? Let us know. Yeah. Now, how are you feeling about tomorrow, Wayne? Because I've got a big question mark about the game tomorrow, because I can't. Everyone's going, "Oh, we smashed Spurs and we've done this." Gyökeres, I know we're going to talk about this guy all season, right? Can he put in that level of performance that he give us against Spurs?
It's what it is. As I say, with him, it's players around him, and I think what Mikel done well was, if he has got Havertz on and it's not quite working, then you bring Havertz on. For me, I've said it before and I say it again. You put Jesus in. If you're playing Jesus at Mansfield, I'm with you. If you're going to start Jesus, maybe he just does not give the same intensity as a Gyökeres, as a Havertz. So Gyökeres has to kind of be around players that will give him that. The likes of Havertz, they get on with him. Like, as I say, there's certain things with Martinelli, it does work, sometimes it don't, but there's certain ways of playing. Havertz and Eza playing off of Gyökeres, as you see against Spurs, works. Eza splits the centre-backs, that second goal happens. Yeah? So this is what he gives you. You have to play the right players around him, Tone.
And I don't think you can break up that link that Eza and Gyökeres have created since the North London derby.
No,
There's a
that's what I
couple of
think.
goals
That's
there
why I
where,
won't put him to the left,
yeah,
Tone. You know, if you're going to put a Nonny there, you're going to put a Martinelli, or you're going to have to go for an out of form Trossard. You just have to keep Eza at this moment in time next
yeah,
to him until a fully fit Havertz gets back into this team, and then you can do it. And then this is where you can dovetail with who needs to be dovetailed with. But for me, the manager has to drop the obsession with Jesus coming on constantly. He hasn't got the physical body anymore to do what Mikel wants him to do in his team. He's got some silky touches. He can
mm,
put the ball in the back of the net against tired legs in the right game. But he put a ball in the back of the net against Leeds brilliantly. But we were 3-0 up at the time, weren't we? 2-3-0 up. What was the score
yeah,
against Leeds again? Was it 3-0? 4? I can't
four
remember.
nil, 4-0,
4-0. Thank you. It was.
yeah,
So he put the fourth goal in. He can
yeah,
do that for you, Tone. High intensity Premier League games, I don't think he can. So you have to, you have to. It's vitally important that Havertz, Eza, and Yok, they're the three players that can get that rapport going. You know, Saka is his own demon when he needs to turn it on as well. You know, oh, he's got another niggling injury. This is where the niggling injuries have got to kind of cut out, Tone, because he's you know you're on the big contract now, you know, and he's vitally important to the rest of the season that he can pick up form, and we need running Havertz, you know, and running Saka. Them two fit and firing, and then you've got a new partnership with Eza and Gyökeres, and the rest will be history, Tone. That's where you win
yeah.
it with them four players. So it's important tomorrow you keep that together. I'm not, to answer your question. I was just talking about team dynamics. I apologise. To answer your question, I'm not worried. Um, I do believe we will win, and I will give the score when you ask the question. But I think this football club are more than capable tomorrow of riding any storm that Chelsea have got for us and turning these guys over. Um, and I mean, obviously, you know, without Fofana, without Cucurella, I think they will be struggling in defence. I think Cucurella knows how to come up against Saka. He does. He gets cooked a few times and then defends him well from the second half onwards, and that's when Saka goes quiet. Cucurella's not there, so I think that's a big miss for Chelsea in terms of the fact that he's an annoying little mophead twat, but he does
Yeah.
he does pick his game up, if you know what I mean. In all due respect to him, he's a little prick, but he can get the
He's a
number
little
for the
terrier,
ground
isn't
winners.
he? He's just he's at
Yeah,
his ankles,
he'll
isn't
he'll
he?
keep on and on. You can, you know, whatever you want to say about him and take the piss out of his hair, he'll keep going. He is a terrier of a player, unfortunately, but they haven't got him. So I think that's where we can get him personally, Tone. Especially him and Fofana being out.
Yeah, Jess Penny's put a very good point in. I don't know if you've noticed or not. Rice moved in the eight since the start of 24-25 the season. Since then, we are not fluid enough.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it down solely to him, but I mean, in terms of his ability to sit in the six, you're 100% right. Subamendi needs to be further forward, in my opinion, in any kind of game state. Unfortunately, as well, he's kind of like that way as well, Tone, in terms of fluctuating between a 6 and 8. He was doing it in Spain, um, and he's good at receiving. So what Arteta wants, is him to back against their play, pick the ball up. He's got eyes over the shoulder, boom, and he's gone. Drop the shoulder and play it. That's what he wants. Declan Rice can do that. He can do that. He can break play up, but because Subamendi's been that profile brought in, he's naturally kind of shifted right a little bit, Rice a bit further forward. It does have a detrimental effect on obviously your attacking, because Declan Rice is more so much as a transitional footballer who is not going to be creating chance creation. Is going to be down he's going to be the guy that's attacking the box, Tone. He is
yeah,
your old school box to box midfielder, so you have to play him that way if you're going to play him in that role. You don't ask him to have a creative burden, because he will struggle with that, because it's never been his game, you know. So yeah, the Rice at number 6, he's a phenomenal player, but that's up to the boss again to. He's got to tweak it a little bit, in my opinion, and then maybe allow Zubamendi that box crashing ability and get on the ball a bit more, you know.
yeah. I think at the moment, I think the problem is because you've got Zubi and Rice in their midfield. I don't think Odegaard can play in that three at this moment in time, because I think because
Mm.
Odegaard is very similar to Zubi in terms of he wants to pick the ball up from a deep line position, right? And I think, I don't know if you've noticed, Zubi doesn't have a great game with Odegaard in the team. I know he's gone quiet the last couple of games, but naturally
Yeah.
his ability to His job, Zubimendi, is to get the ball from deep and get us playing. Now, when Odegaard's in that area, it disrupts that play between Rice and Zubi, but also there's no one feeding Jokeres at the same time. So I think if Odegaard needs to play in the 8 or not at all now for me, because I don't think that number or unless we're closing the game out and doing a bit of game management, he comes in and plays in a midfield 3, a flat midfield 3.
Yeah, listen, Sam, 100%. And I think, the why he's got that base there. And I think as well why he bought Subi in. And guys, please sort of, bear with me because this is, again, trying to guess Arteta. But in my opinion, what I've said in terms of having like a Havertz behind Yok, Eza to the left, Saka to the right, I think Kai Havertz getting that injury, like I've said in prior streams, is what ruined his plan for the season. To have them two at your base, you want, to get them, you could have a Kai Havertz dropping forward, you could have Eza kind of dropping in, people shifting to the left, maybe Yok could have, what I mean? It's Yok is a left side player as well, who kind of drifts naturally to that side. He's not necessarily great at the right hand side. He's always kind of been naturally kind of attached to that left hand side of the pitch tone. So, you could have that kind of player in there, like an Eza or like a Havertz. But I think, in my opinion, the reason why he wanted a Zubi was that he was going to potentially phase out an Erdegaard type player, have maybe Rice sit, Zubimendi further forward, have moments in, especially the tougher the breakdown teams, have Havertz in there and Eza off of him on the left hand side. It hasn't worked out that way. But I think that's what it is. You put Yok in this team, you need a player. You need players like an Eza or Havertz. You don't need an Erdegaard, because Erdegaard can thread the balls through to you, but he's not been close enough to him, Tony, and he's not that naturally like way inclined. Sorry, to do that. So that's where he's kind of rolled in the team's kind of been becoming null and void as the games carry on going on, dude. And as you say, he should play in the 8, but he's not strong enough at times. He rides the tackle. He doesn't want to get injured. World Cup round the corner. Well, I get that, Erdegaard, but we're challenging on 4 fronts, mate. We need you to step up. Do you want it or not? Do you want to stay at this club, or do you want to kind of look in the summer but go, look, you know what, I've had a good run. I've led the club to X title, whatever title, or what, if we win anything or whatever, and you can move on happily in the summer because you want a different role in a different club. He's got to step up, Tone. But for me now, I think that number 10 role has kind of evolved as the season's gone on. But again, Arteta's defaulted back to Erdegaard in the 10 because Eza was coming out of form, Havertz weren't in there, and he defaulted again. He can't default back to that time. You have to move further forward, mate.
Yeah, Pender's put. There's a lot of That's a lot of thinking. Yeah, Wayne does a lot of thinking, mate. He does. To be fair,
I've been on my sick. I was on my sick bed for about 3 days, matey, and
yes, that's 3 days.
Further too.
3 days worth of thinking in this stream. So
I've been away from the stream and a bit very much ill, so I've had a lot of thoughts. So I apologise if it sounds like waffle, my boys and people watching. But I try to explain my things.
Yeah, I don't believe Arteta wanted Gyökeres and Eze both. He wanted Sesko. That's a very good point, and I think he did want Sesko. I think we got priced out of Sesko. That's why we moved on to Yok.
It's he did for the thing, but again, he needed to be, in my opinion, as well, Jasper. He needed to be challenged. Because as much as Sesko, as I say, you can't deny there's, a lot of people, no one on here, myself included, it's not going to say that the boy has got potential. But, Havertz was, in Arteta's opinion, if Havertz was fit, then obviously if you're presenting him with a different type of striker in the Gyökeres, he would have done one of two things, and that would have been start Havertz in different games, then have Gyökeres, or start both. He had a game plan, he had a game state, and he hasn't had that because Havertz has been sort of like injured for 4 months' time. So he's obviously got that. You've got that in there. There's been a lot of talk about Pio Esposito from Inter. Obviously, Inter going out of the Champions League as well could be a thing where Berta might need to get on the phone and say, look, we're a stronger team. are you willing to leave Italy? Because he come on as a sub and caused Gabriel, he caused Mosquera a bit of an issue in that game, and so Arteta brought Gabriel on to kind of shackle him a bit. Tone, he's a young,
Yeah.
tall Italian lad. He's got another high ceiling as well with Jasper. So keep your eye on that. Arsenal are sniffing around that. But you price us out at Cesco, you've got to go for the next best thing. And I think it's a good thing because it's different and it puts it's put him out of his comfort zone. He would have stayed with this Havertz Cesco profile. He's now got a profile who's just a transitional based striker. We had a debate. I had a debate with Ben about it, saying, "Oh well, why hasn't he got no the other day, like a week ago or so when it was time? Oh, why are you signing a striker without technical ability?" It's not for it. We do not want him for his technical ability. We've said it before. We said it again. Get the ball, put the ball in the back of the net. He proved that at Spurs. So I still think he's been a vital signing in that sense, and I don't think we will regret it come the end of the season. But Sesko was overpriced. Time he was 85.
Yeah.
We did, and Berta wouldn't stretch that high. And yeah, I get what you're saying, Jazz, for Eze and Gyökeres. Maybe they weren't top of the list, but I still think they're good enough for
On
what you
Eze,
want to do.
I think that we pushed to sign Eze, Wayne.
In
When
fairness,
just
we
had
have
that
scouted
Havertz.
in Tone. We've
We
had
scouted
Eze
him.
on the books for the
I
last
think
couple of
that
years.
I think the go live button with Eze was literally pushed when Havertz got signed off until Christmas at the start of the season.
Havertz kind of rescued that deal in a sense, and so I get it in that one. Yeah, in terms of him getting injured, kind of rescued it. But it is one of those things. I think he was still vitally important even if Havertz was fully fit. But some things happen in football where you have to push a button, and if it happens, it happens, and it gets a player that I believe still can offer something to this football club. In different ways, from the left or from the
Yeah.
10.
If we see,
Should have been signed without it, Tone. But I get what you're
yeah.
saying. It was
Look,
because
I
of
mean,
that.
on Eze and Gyökeres, if we see the performance they put in against Spurs, they do the same thing tomorrow, then we win. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Just Benders, but Odegaard should not be worried about that World Cup. If anyone in our squad is guaranteed going, it's him. So just sit some games out. So it's that because
But listen,
yeah,
I mean, it is that, and it's also as well the point I'm
well,
bringing to Jazz is he
Haaland's
dives
not.
out, he jumps out of tackles, doesn't he, as
Yeah,
well, Tone, which is my
I mean,
annoying.
fair play to Haaland. He's going to the World Cup regardless, right? Same as Odegaard. He's still throwing himself in there. He wants to win the title. He wants to push City up. Do you know what I mean?
That's all we're asking, Tone. All we're asking for him. I mean, let's be quite fair and let's be real. For Norway, obviously, he's obviously been phenomenal because they're going to a World Cup. But we Arsenal and Arsenal fans haven't seen a phenomenal Odegaard for almost 2 years now. So, you'll have a lot of people online ramming with us, and if they were to see us, what we were saying about Odegaard and stuff, Tone. But it's like, listen, all we're making the point of is that we have not seen the best of this guy for a consistent amount of time. It's like, as I say, the argument, I couldn't keep on arguing with anymore. I know we were saying at the time, we could see, me and you were saying it with Gyökeres, with his pressing. All that I would say with Odegaard is he's a great presser, Tone. You know what I mean? He'll he's not doing what he can do and what we need him to do on a consistent basis. You can't keep saying, oh, he's great, he leads to press, he's great at this and that. We don't want the U shape. We don't want the horseshoe Tone. We got a transitional striker and we need to play that way.
And going back to your point about about Gyökeres wanting to veer to the left, right? Odegaard wants to veer to the right. So there's a mismatch there in terms of tactics.
There's a massive mismatch. Who else veers to the left in this squad, and who I keep saying about?
Eze. He goes both ways as well, doesn't he? Really,
he can go both ways, but he's biases from the left hand side of the pitch, and that's where these guys can find that link up from time.
Yeah, and I think that's why it works against Spurs. Just put a very good point in. Norway play him in a proper 10, and people don't low block Norway, so he can be himself. And that's why I think the Premier League isn't for him anymore. If I'm being honest with you,
I don't think he will be. I will die on that hill that I think that this guy, and I'm sorry to jump on your point, Tone, but like we said, Spain.
Yeah, he's a top footballer. He'd go and run Spain.
He'll run Spain like Modric. He'll go and run it, and there'll be Arsenal fans going, "What the hell?" He's like, no. he'll be have the freedom of the pitch again, and he was great when he for Real Sociedad. Tried to get into the Real Madrid team. Ancelotti didn't want him, so then we swooped in. The Premier League is a whole different kettle of fish, and it's kind of caught up with
especially
him,
now.
injuries and whatever. And the tactics it's outgrown him, and there's a different kind of game you've got to play. And Ødegaard is still a phenomenal footballer, Tone, and I think he'll be a phenomenal footballer in Spain. He's just struggling in the Premier League to really show that, and he's not been consistent for almost 2 years now. You know, we haven't seen an Ødegaard that you know.
I was quite happy for him
Next level.
he actually did set Gyökeres up. Give him some credit. Got his first assist for Gyökeres this season.
Well, it's a long time coming. I mean, it's fucking February. You know, it's the end of February, and it's the first assist for your striker. You know, and the problem is, Tony, is the way we play and the way he plays doesn't always. You haven't seen him open his body up and spray a pass, or to spray into the channel. And that bloody famous, it's not famous, but it keeps coming up on my X feed about where if you have a look at it just keeps going on, and people with Ødegaard in terms of Gyökeres, where Gyökeres has gone one way and then Ødegaard turns with his body, it's slow motion, and then Gyökeres runs again and he's got space, and then he still doesn't put him through, and then he goes back again. This is this is the frustrating part. He has a striker that can run, and he doesn't seem to do it. You know, he has that link up with Haaland for Norway. I mean, Haaland's a different level, but
has anyone in the chat seen Mean Machine? Wait, have you seen Mean Machine? The full Mean Machine?
Yeah.
It reminds me of when Gyökeres doesn't run. It reminds me of Vinnie Jones going, pass it, fucking pass it.
Yeah, I mean
that's what comes to mind when I see that.
Yeah.
See that mimic.
It's so frustrating. I mean, people obviously slowed it down. They've made it look worse, but you know, the frustration from there is you know, and like you say, listen, if he can keep doing that, then fair enough. I still believe that the only way you get the tune out from him if he plays closer to Gyökeres, if you're going to put Ødegaard anywhere near that 10. So that's where it's got to be, Tone, because he, as I say, this constant stuff where he's searching for pockets, searching for holes, and he'll pick that ball up and control the game for you, Tone.
Yeah,
but he controls the game with no penetration half the time, and this is the problem you have. So it's where you got certain game states will require him, and I think it's more so for the latter end of the seasons for him to get in control of games that we've taken control of, if you like. You know what I mean? Get him off the bench, get into control of the game.
Yeah, I mean, Daspender's put a good point in. The only thing I don't like is when they say he's a Real Madrid reject, Ødegaard, that is. I mean, in the midfield of Modric, Kroos, Casemiro, I don't think anyone gets in.
Not at that time. They were, as you said, Champions League winning midfield. Jasper, he's not a Real Madrid reject, mate. He's anyone can't get in. That's what it was, wasn't it? He was trying to get into that midfield, and you can't, Tony. I mean, Modric was still at the top of his game. You know, could he come back in and do that? I think he can become a better. Is he Modric level? It's a different kettle of fish, but I think he could look a quality player nowadays with a bit more of a slower tempo. Because when someone's on him and when he's ducking out of challenges, Tone, and he's and you're just like, come on, mate. You know what I mean? It's the boy. The boy's shielding something, whether it's the World Cup or not. But watch this space. I think obviously that could be an interesting one in the summer. But I think that's where his future could lie. Personally, Tone, I think the Premier League's passing the boy by if you don't make a change. You know.
Yeah, I'll get your score predictions very shortly, but maybe we'll start wrapping up.
No,
a couple of topics in the week that I've not had a chance to speak to you about. I know we messaged and stuff about things. Number one, someone said online, I don't know if you see this, how must Declan Rice be feeling? Well, this is what they've wrote, by the way. This is not what I'm saying. They wrote, how must Declan Rice be feeling? He's looked around at Saka. He's getting paid 300 grand a week. He's now the highest paid footballer at the club, right? Is Declan Rice not looking at his agent going, why the hell am I not up to that level with Saka? And then they put in there, Saka's not been great this season. And I think Declan Rice has probably been our best player this season, probably an argument for last season as well.
Yeah.
What do you think of that statement, Wayne? Is that something that would be? Do you think Declan Rice is the sort of person to go, hang on a minute, what's going on?
Listen, what happens between sort of like a player and his agent shouldn't really be put into washed in the public by dirty laundry, but it gets out, unfortunately. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some truth in it, but I also think this could be agent talk. There has been talk of a Declan Rice being in the background in discussions for a new deal. Obviously, maybe it could be put on the back burner for the summer, but I think with his contract. His third season now. I don't know if he's got like a 5-year contract on. So of course, I think there has been talk. Maybe it could be agent kind of saying, swinging out sort of like little things in the media, and it gets out in platforms. You know, they do it all the time, Tone. So it could be him angling. He deserves it definitely. Declan Rice needs a 10-year contract, mate. You know, he's a world class central midfielder, and he'll be a linchpin in that midfield for years, and he deserves the contract. That one, the high contract doesn't break the bank, doesn't upset anyone, but it needs to be on the level of the highest earners at this football club because
The second
he's
highest
vitally
earner
important.
is Havertz at the moment. So
This
if
is
I've
what
got
this is the
Declan Rice,
thing, and
yeah,
as well Jesus, and
yeah,
this is my problem. I mean, I know we had Dave as well when he was on the stream, and very kindly helping us out there, and was saying, you know, with Jesus, 275k a week sitting on your bench is not really, you should be waste of money, and I agree with that. Obviously, the boss has got an obsession with him, Tone, and likes Jesus. But for me and you, and my opinion is that again, that you can swallow that until the summer. But if players like that, who are not your guaranteed starters, are sitting on that amount of money, then Declan Rice should be sitting on higher than Jesus, without a doubt.
yeah,
You know?
true. Yeah, Jess Penny's got a good point here. It's just forward players get more. Rodri can have a Ballon d'Or, but we won't make as much. He won't make as much as Vinny or Haaland. It's just in everything forwards get preference. Yeah, I do get that point, and I think, but what I'm looking at in terms of this, I think Declan Rice is probably our best player at this moment in time. If you take Declan Rice out of that team, we're a completely different
We
team.
have to we have to firstly as well to keep a player like that, to keep players like Saliba, also Saka as well.
Yeah.
But a player like
By the way,
Rice has come to
I'm not
Arsenal to
saying that
win.
Saka doesn't deserve the new contract. By the way, and he's
No,
been a
listen,
good player
we're
for us.
not. We love Saka on this channel, Tone. We're just
Yeah,
we're asking. We know we're like with Erdegaard. We're supporters of our football club. We just want to see players do well. So we're well within our rights to say at 300k now, you're at 24, 25 Bukayo.
step up.
Let's step up a bit now. You know, your injury's been 6 months, was it almost a year ago now that he pinged his hammy. We get it takes a while for your body to readjust, but listen, justify the wages. But Declan Rice would justify the wages, I think, in my opinion, as well. And a message up to Jazz for, I get what you're saying, but I think, you know, this football club, if we're to progress, he's your midfielder that has to be at this club. He's vitally important. And you have to keep him happy, Tone. So whatever it takes to keep him happy, give him a 10-year contract, 300k, whatever he wants. Just you need that boy in the middle of the pitch for you, matey. You know.
Yeah, and then before,
Getting Anderson and a Walton alongside Superman
bloody hell, could you imagine Anderson would be a great.
Anderson will be yes. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So listen.
Also, your thoughts on that twat? I know he's well now, that twat who was holding
There's
up
quite a few Tones, so
Rice's,
drop it down a bit.
that Tottenham supporter, he was holding up that phone to Declan Rice of his wife. What that was.
I would have, as I say, I would have, having seen it, I would have come on to your thing. But again, mate, you wouldn't want to see me laying there in me bed, sick, not well, feeling sick and feeling absolutely crap. But I would have come online, dude. But yeah, I'll answer it now for you. It's almost a week in advance. But yeah, again, it's disgusting and it's an absolute disgrace. These people, these footballers, and again, I could go ranting on about different kind of stuff in the media because it comes through, even that doesn't involve football. But people are disgusting, Tone. And at the end of the day, it's like, let's have a few home truths then, mate. Why don't we have a look at what if you first and foremost, have you got a bird or a girlfriend? Sorry, guys, don't be. But I apologise. I'm a South Londoner. Have you got a girlfriend? Have you got a partner? Whatever it might be. What would you want people to be on? Showing pictures of her. Is it what has it got to do with you? What Declan Rice misses looks like at the end of the day.
Abuse Declan Rice. It can take it. He's going to get that right in a rival match. He's going to get abused.
To do that,
that's like bread and butter.
Your shit. You could, Tone. If he'd have said it, right? If he'd have said it, then maybe but Declan Rice knows he's got, many of these footballers have got to zone out what twats say. He is showing a picture now. You have gone on the internet. You have found a picture of him and his missus. That's a picture of him and his missus was there, but he's obviously taken Declan Rice out. You have took the time to crop Declan Rice out of that picture, show his missus, and you're there as he's standing. You're a fucking idiot, mate.
Yeah.
And the geezer should be chucked out of that fucking football club and not going to the stadium for starters. But secondly, what's it got to do with him? All right, what anyone's missus looks like, or what everyone's partner looks like, whatever way, shape, or form, or what sexual orientation you are. What has it got to do with anybody? And why have you got to come to a football match showing that off in your phone? And in that, like I bet you would be. Let's have a look at your life, mate, and reverse it and see what This guy's on 250k a week. He's playing for a team that's in 4 competitions, top of the league, finished top in the Champions League, in a cup final, and you're sitting there watching your team fight relegation, showing his missus on a phone because you're that sad. Like, sort your life out, mate.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, Tate. I mean, this is what people get, and this is low life.
Go
and reverse it, mate, and let's see your life. Let's step out of that stadium, follow you home, and see what your life's like, and let's compare. I'm pretty sure Declan Rice is much more happy than you are, mate. So you don't have to go to a football match, and you don't have to go to a football match and do that. Sorry, I mean, just say it. Like, if you're going to say it, look at you, Tone, called him down in a Stuart down in a.
No, I called him a. Yeah, I went. Oh, you're shit, you prick.
But you didn't get a picture out and say to him, "Here's your stats, you cunt." It's football.
It's banter. Don't start getting. Yeah. No, it is. And Joe, what? I felt bad for the guy. I know. I think it did hit him a little bit as he's come out, and I think there's loads of big scandal and all that stuff. I was like, that for me was like, no, where do you draw the line when you watch as football fans? There's a rival, but at the end of the day, you got to remove that shit, right? It's football,
personal stuff. The fact is, as well, it also goes back to Mikel getting rival fans were doing it, but when Mikel was outside, he had his family in the car. It's a security risk for him to let that window down.
I agree with him. Don't open the window.
For that crank. Don't open the window. You've got your wife in there, whether he had his younger children in there. All right. That is his prerogative to keep them safe. Right. It's Declan Rice's prerogative to have his private life left where it is. It doesn't matter what anyone looks at. If you're happy in life, that's the main thing. So what's it got to do with some 2-bit Toby Tottenham fan flaring it out at you? Mate, look at yourself in the mirror and realise what you've done.
Well, he must feel like a twat right now. Anyway, yeah.
Well, he should do. He should do. In fact, good. I'm sorry, there, guys, but
good debate.
I had 3 days after that of laying in a bed, absolutely done, and thinking about it. So that was my answer. So I apologise, guys. I was sick at the time. So
fair enough.
I couldn't answer that question for you then and
there. Jazz Penny's put, if Rice gets a big contract, I want more GA. For me personally, passion won't cut it. I mean, look, I think it's fair to say that he's not had many bad games. I know.
I wouldn't say it's his passion. His passion he fuels him, Tone, but he's a different. He's not so much passion.
He's a different animal.
He wants to win.
I think. Give him that armband.
He wants to win, Jazz Fender. I'm not. Listen, can I put a goal assist king?
Yeah.
Was Gilberto Silva a golden assist king? Declan Rice is not a Cesc Fabregas, matey. Declan Rice is your ball-winning, tough tackling midfielder. So let's keep it in that sense. I get what you're saying, but he's different on a whole different level. We haven't brought Declan Rice for his goals and assists. He's improved with us in fairness from his West Ham days, but we haven't brought him for that. I want him more so to break play up. To be that box-crashing midfielder. I'm not expecting him to get Frank Lampard goals or Cesc Fabregas goals, Stevie Gerrard. He's a different kind of player for me, but, he's an all-rounder, Tone. He's more than capable of doing all kind of jobs.
We'll do 5 more minutes, guys. Get your comments in, get your last questions. How are you feeling about tomorrow?
Yeah, and thanks for joining those that have. I know I've been at the game and waffling on. We was only going to do an half-hour, 40-minute one, but you know, thanks for sticking with us as usual, guys. Please hit that like button, as Tony says, as well. It does help the channel.
So yeah, CJ's mate, it broke my heart the other night. Your live chat weren't working. I was talking to myself like a madman. Was it not working?
Oh,
Interesting.
bloody hell.
Yeah, I've not. That Joel actually explains a lot because I was doing the video on Wednesday. I was like, "There's no fucker watching or listening or commenting."
Listen,
It was strange. That actually
I'll
makes a
call
lot
it
of sense.
CJ. I'll call you CJ, as you know myself, because it confuses me. Because I think I'm talking myself. Listen, Tony was saying that we Tony can only apologise. As I say, he works hard to get these streams done and whatever we can.
I wasn't ignoring you, mate.
He wasn't
They
ignoring you
generally
or
weren't coming
anyone
through,
at
so
all. So hopefully, if there's anyone
hopefully
watching,
it's fixed now. Yeah,
he
hopefully
wasn't
it's fixed now.
ignoring you. He did mention it to me on the Wednesday as well. So yeah, we
Sorry
can only
about that.
apologise.
But you definitely wasn't mad, man. I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
Just Penny's responded to your point, man. I expect more stats like other eights, Pedri, Vitinho, or others go back to the 6, or he goes back to the 6. Yeah. I mean, he's not. You're comparing two players there that aren't in the Premier League. I think that'd be my argument against you there.
Listen, I get what you're saying, mate.
Really, you keep saying, but yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, is it? It's working now though, right? Because it's all coming through. It must have been a glitch, buddy.
It's strange. The problem is you can't sort of look at that, Bones, either, could you? You know.
I also put comments in praising Ezra. Maybe that's why the chat broke down.
You didn't, Jasper, did you? If you said anything other than these touches,
CJ, it was just Pende's fault. It was acting like a weirdo, putting praising for Ezra. That's probably why.
I'm disappointed in you, Jasper, mate. I really am.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'll have a look, but I mean, it's working today, so it must be YouTube. Yeah, mate, your chat's coming through. Here we go. Lovely. CJ's put big win tomorrow, 2-1, 3-1 Arsenal, and working perfect now, mate. There we go. Lovely stuff. Wayne, give us your predictions, mate.
3-0 to the Arsenal.
3-0 to the Arsenal. I'm going to go with CJ. I'm going to go with a 2-0. I think we were.
Yeah, I reckon a 2 or 3-0 tone. I think we're going to be really. I'm hoping we're going to be strong in the defence, mate. You know, let's make a point out there.
The only thing that worries me, Wayne. Sorry to interrupt you there. The only thing that worries me.
Don't apologise, son. Go with it.
The only thing that worries me about tomorrow is the fact that now the pressure's back on us to go and get a result. A draw is no good. A draw is no good.
Mate, yeah. No, exactly. This is where. Listen, you know. There's I'm not going to be. There's a lot of people that are taking the piss out of Rosenia. I'm not going to be joining them people because I think at the end of the day, you know, he's coming to do a job. You can call him whatever you want to call him. All he is a guy that we need to beat tomorrow. He will set his team up to kind of be frustrating like he did in the League Cup. But I think that him not having Cucurella, Fofana, Esteval. He's starting at a loss, in my opinion. So I think he's going to struggle.
It does make me laugh with Rosenia when he the League Cup when our players.
He's too emotional.
We went on our side. We went on their side where they were traded. He started moaning. Now if I'm I mean I can imagine Ben White or someone doing this. He's not fit though. Probably is just go on that side just for 10 minutes just to wind him up.
Someone done it
on their side of the pitch.
Someone who is it?
Rent free, mate. Just go to him rent free and then walk down the tunnel.
It is rent free. But someone done it, and someone went, watch out, Liam, because someone's on your literally. Someone was doing that, like encroaching on the pitch, and I don't think he's saying anything. I don't know if he's kind of sort of like if he was trying to like look at me to the kind of cameras or make a point, but it's like, mate, listen, I don't know what you're trying to do, but there's not that. Everyone has come out and said to you that why are you moaning about something like that? Because that's what all they do. Because we've seen it, and it's not designed to put anyone off. It's the fact that the kicking coach, you know what I mean? That's all it is. So he was having a go at the goal. Who was helping the goalkeeping coach because they're you've got to clear the ball over the halfway line, Tone. That's the whole point of being a goalkeeper. So then you've got to be training prior to the game, and he was just trying to make a point. In my opinion,
I think he was just trying to, he was trying to start a bit of heat before the,
Me and you were confused when we were watching it live, and I really was. I'm like, why is he talking? What's that about? And but that was to one of the basically one of the goalkeeping coaches, mate.
CJ's put nothing but win wins now, lads. No slip-ups, no mistakes, no excuses, hard work and pride now. Yeah, we do. That's my worry tomorrow, because Chelsea, every
10
team we
cup
play,
finals.
exactly, every team we play are going to want to come for us.
Yeah,
they'll
roll over for City, but for us, it's a different level. It's always.
But
listen, that's we got to do our job. That's all we got to do.
Yeah, that's it. Now on the head, mate. City have won, so we must win, even if it's an own goal in the last minute.
Listen, and as long as Eza has good touches, you know what I mean, and that ball goes in the back of someone's,
Yeah, we don't care how it goes in, as long as it goes
in.
But
yeah, as long as it falls over the line and it's 3 points to the Arsenal at the end of the 90 minutes, that's all we care about, Jazz. But thanks for joining. Thanks for the comments, mate. We appreciate it. We, as usual with everybody, thank you very much for joining us, putting up with us and my waffles. But thank you very much.
That's
guys.
good to have you back, Wayne. It's good to have you back.
Thank
guys,
you, appreciate it, mate.
There will be a watch along tomorrow. We'll probably be on, 4:30 again? Super Sunday.
Yeah.
Super Sunday. We'll be on at 4, just after 4 o'clock, guys. Starting 11 be out. Come and join us. As I said, don't listen to Gary Neville. Don't listen to commentary. Come listen to our commentary. Come and join in with us, fellow Gooners. Big game. Don't listen to them lot on old Sky Sports. But yeah, come and join the watch along tomorrow. Before you jump off, hit the like button, and if you're new around, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Come on, you Gunners. Big game.
Come on, you Gunners. Take care, guys.
Have a good evening.
Have a good one.